The hardest thing about developer marketing is that it's anything but marketing. When you think about how developers browse the internet, they're most of the time trying to find solutions to problems they have or answers to questions they have. And trying to get their attention when they're in that mindset is very, very difficult. The second thing is that developers are skeptical by nature. So they, by default, wouldn't believe anything they see on the internet. And trying to be there in your most authentic way is very challenging, yet that's the unlock to do developer marketing right. The difference between developer marketing and any other kind of marketing is that developers are among the best bullshit detectors in the world. So you really need to pay a lot of attention to the tiniest of details. And it starts not from your product, it actually starts from your brand and how you communicate things online. That is profoundly important. The second point is that developers are builders, and while they build, they encounter all sorts of different problems. But what I think a lot of developer marketers miss is that developers would choose what kind of solution they would want to adopt for a problem way before the problem ever existed. So you really want to be out there and you really want to be marketing all the time, even before a developer actually has a problem. So if you're a developer marketer and you expect a developer to see an ad and just click on it right away and convert, that would probably be the wrong mental model around it. You want to be there, you want to communicate well, you want to show that you're authentic, so that when the time comes and the developer actually has the problem, you'll be top of mind for them. The number one most expensive mistake developer marketing teams make is trying to brute force attention. It just doesn't work. It's not the kind of problems that you can just throw money at and expect to see results. It's not the kind of problems where you can just diversify channels and spray and pray. It just would not work. Developers are builders, and as such, they really love their craft. So if you're a developer marketer, your number one objective is to make sure that they feel that you and your company love the craft at least as much as they do. And it comes down to the tiniest of details. So you could have created the most amazing, brilliant marketing campaign, but if your landing page takes 5-10 seconds to load, that's just not gonna work. If you've created something truly exceptional, but then the developer lands on a landing page that has generic or AI-generated copy, that's just gonna be an immediate turnoff. The second part is time to value. This is such a profoundly important part for any engineer. They wanna be able to try out things using their own hands. Allowing them to get from 0 to hello world within 5 minutes is so important. You really need to put out some sort of way for them to evaluate the technology themselves. They don't want to go on demo calls. They don't want to go on sales calls. They really want to have this self-serve experience that would get them excited and would increase their conviction. Attribution is such a pain for developer advertising for 2 reasons. The first one is that a journey doesn't look like a journey. The second part that makes attribution and developer advertising so difficult is that, again, it's a slow cook. And it takes time for developers to make up their mind. They would try out your tools maybe once or twice. If they get excited, they might start using that for a side project or a weekend project. And by the time they go on their professional mindset in their job or in the thing that they're actually working on and use your platform, is very undeterministic. You don't know where it's gonna happen. So you wanna make sure that you've been there and you've been very supportive and you've made sure that all of your docs and all of your support has been very accessible for them. So when the time comes for them to actually try out that thing in production, you've been given an exceptional kind of service. So when you think about the fact that developers might use you in different contexts, from just a quick try to a hobby project to a full production project, you really want to care about all the support that you've given them throughout the entire journey. So it's not just an attribution event, it's an entire course of events that you need to consider. And it comes down to how your brand looks like, but it also comes down to what kind of support you've given them along the way. What kind of documentation did you have in place? All these kinds of things would matter a lot if you really want to see results. AI is the most horrible thing that has ever happened to developer marketing. Trust was always an issue with developer marketing, and AI made it 100 times worse. So we used to live in an environment where content was commodity, and there's been a lot of content for developers. What AI effectively did is that it commoditized content creation. all of a sudden everyone can create content, whether that's imagery, video, audio, and text. And that put developers in a very tight position. So remember, they were skeptical in the first place. And now they're 100 times more skeptical because they just cannot believe what they see. So the only way for you to stand out is actually to be very authentic. And that's an advice that's been out there for years, and now it's profoundly more important than ever before. So the thing I would do differently if I were to launch a dev tool today versus 5 years ago is keeping in mind 2 points. The first one is that growth at all costs is no longer the mindset. You really want to be mindful as to where you spend your money and where you spend your effort. There is a lot of noise out there, and trying to leapfrog beyond that is extremely difficult. So you need to be picky as for the channels that you're using. The second part is, even if you've been out there marketing for developers for years, a lot of things have changed. Nowadays, the world go into more niche platforms, more vertical platforms. And if you haven't ever tried advertising in a developer-first platform, that would probably be the first thing that you should try out this year.